Ladies and gentlemen, old Boffin, Michael Laverty in the house, the Breakfast Club.
Morning, Suzi.
Oh, thank goodness, the dulcets. How are you?
Very well, thanks. As good as can be expected in the lockdown circumstances, but all going good. And you?
Very well, thank you very much. Far too busy. Having enjoyed the first few days of freedom and not doing anything, we then decided to start a show. But anyway, where do we find you? Where are you locked down? You with Jodie, presumably?
Yeah, I'm in Kinsham on the Wales border, so out in the sticks a little bit. So it has been quiet. I've been here since early March after I was in Phillip Island whenever I was due to travel on to Qatar, then got the call to come directly home. So I've been here since the first week of March, but it's been good. Been able to get up to stuff that I don't usually get time to do, and like you say, finding myself actually quite busy in the last few days. It's weird. You have all this time in your hands and then end up with too much to do.
You wonder how you ever went to work, really, don't you? So what have you been doing then? Is it all been sort of home DIY jobs and things, or?
Exactly. Yeah, getting through all the things that you never get time to do. The to-do list I'm actually rattling through it pretty good. And then I've got some bikes upstairs I like to tinker on. Haven't been riding any bikes, but we have a kart track here. That's Jodie's mum and dad's home business. So I could actually go out and play, but I don't want to be the guy making noise around the area while everyone's at home. So I've refrained from that so far. But yeah, plenty to do. I've actually been working on a little project with the British mini bike series, trying to get a little academy up and going for the real youth of the sport. So like looking to try and give something for that 14 or even earlier from 12 years old, some way to kind of pick out that talent, give them an opportunity to develop from an earlier age, the way they do in Spain and in Italy. So getting my teeth into that, learning how to trade a little bit with stocks and shares and stuff, just passing my time with stuff that you never normally get a chance to get into.
That's interesting what you're saying about the grassroots mini bikes. Sort of, how are you going to do that? How will it manifest itself in terms of if anybody wanted to get involved in that? Where would it be based, and how could they get involved, and when would it start?
That's what we're looking at. Once the racing commences for them, which will be the second half of this year, it'll be through the British mini bike series, which is called BMB, and they already run quite a good, strong championship with loads of different classes. But we want to try and have an academy set up where we're looking at the guys who possibly don't have the funding, don't have the best bikes, but you can start from such a young age, and sometimes talent slips through the net, and that's what they do so good in Spain and Italy. Those guys are riding bikes from no age. They get so many hours of bike and seat time before they reach 14, 15 years old, where they get thrown into the professional ranks. And that's why, in my opinion, UK riders mature in their 30s rather than in their late teens, early 20s, the way we get Fabio Quartararo and the likes coming through. They rode pocket bikes, rode mini bikes, and we are doing that in the UK, but not to a level that competes with those guys. So at the moment, we haven't announced anything yet, but we're just trying to figure out the whole structure of it and what way best to work it out so as no one slips through the net, so as everyone gets an opportunity.
Well, we like the fact that you've half sort of announced something on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
We got an exclusive.
Yeah.
That's great. No, but you're right, because the infrastructure in Spain and Italy is exceptional, isn't it? And it casts the net far afield, and we do see the young talent coming through so early, and you can almost look to those academies and see where the next World Championships are coming from, and that's where we need to be in the UK, really, isn't it? So fair play to you for getting involved with that and doing that. That's one to talk about when we can get racing again and follow over the next few years with you. So that would be brilliant. Which way should we do this? I'll tell you what we'll do first. Let's talk first about tomorrow, because we're all today, Julian as well, involved in the takeover of the Two Wheels for Life Instagram page, which is the MotoGP's charity, really. And do you want to tell us a little bit about the charity and what they do, and the danger at the moment that people in Africa are up against?
Yeah, that's the great thing with Two Wheels for Life. They use motorcycles, which is what we're passionate about, and that's where the link derives from, to deliver food and medical supplies around the country. So it's great that we're able to do something from home to keep that awareness going, keep the raising money, and I look forward to joining you and Julian again tomorrow for the live show. So they've also got a social media gig kicking off from tomorrow called Get Your Kit Off. So if you've got full leathers, helmet, boots, gloves, put it all on, and then video yourself, time it as quick as you can get out of your kit, and then post it on social media. So all the way to raise awareness. Seems to be the go these days to have the social media challenges. So good call by the Two Wheels for Life guys.
Yeah, so get your kit off from tomorrow. That should be fun. Also, yourself, Julian, and I are hosting a sundowners drinks session in the evening for 10 people to tell stories and chat. And for all of this, just follow the @2wheels for life Instagram page, and we're just flagging it up for you because that's where we'll all be tomorrow doing our thing. I'll also be talking to Franco Morbidelli, Danilo Petruccia, and Maverick Vinales live. So it's going to be a really fun day. And obviously in Africa, you know, they don't have the infrastructure that we have, and they're very worried about COVID-19 over there, on top of everything else that's going on. So we thought we'd have a chat and flag that up today. But I've got some questions for you, Michael, from yesterday. I mean, the thing with you is you've pretty much raced in every championship across British. We know you won the British Supersport Championship at British Superbikes, and you've done endurance racing. You were in MotoGP as well, obviously. Can you pick out your favourite moments for us?
It's a strange one. Actually, I've been asked that before, and I don't have any one particular moment. I obviously enjoyed racing at the pinnacle in MotoGP. Unfortunately, the equipment I was riding in CRT trim at the time wasn't up to it, but I was battling with the likes of Colin Edwards, and that for me, sharing the track with those guys was fantastic, and it allowed me to realize that actually, unfortunately, equipment does play a big role at that level. So I kind of had the self-awareness that I was fast enough. I just didn't quite have the machinery there. But you know, winning races in BSB, that's a very tough championship against the likes of Shaky Byrne and such an experienced guy. But it's just been fantastic to make a career out of something I loved as a kid, racing schoolboy motocross. I never imagined that I would be a professional racer, and probably took too long to realize that was a possibility. So we done it as a family hobby. We traveled about together. Then all of a sudden I started winning races in the British Supersport Championship, and got an opportunity to race as a professional. So to make a career out of something I love, and I'm still passionate about it, it's been fantastic. Okay, it's not I don't have the career highlights of World Championship wins and that my brother Eugene has, but I have enjoyed such a varied career, like you say. Even racing World Endurance, I absolutely love it. Le Mans 24 hours, it's such personal satisfaction when you cross the line and finish that. And I've been on the podium a couple of times there. It's one of the toughest races I've ever done, but it suits me quite well. I'm a bit of a diesel, not a sprinter. I can go really good for 1 hour, just a couple of % off your maximum and make no mistakes. So it was quite an enjoyable part, and hopefully I haven't finished that. Although I'm 38 and I took a step away from full-time racing, but I still done a couple of World Endurance races last year, and I'd like to continue that into the future.
You just answered a question there from Scooby Rich and a few others that said, will you race again? So obviously that is going to happen. And 38's no age. We know Valentino Rossi is hoping to be racing at the age of 42 at Top Flight.
Yeah, that's true. To be honest, I hadn't really thought about retirement, and if it hadn't been for starting with you guys at BT, I'd have probably still been racing full time, and still I'll always ride bikes because it's my passion. I love it. But racing wise, it's all to do with calendars. This year, had we been racing as normal, I had more or less a full calendar with 20 MotoGP races with BTSport, 20 World Superbike races with Chaz, and then I was going to try and squeeze in a couple of World Endurance and attend BSB as well. But when the opportunity arises, if there's a bike free in BSB, I'll jump on it. I did that with Tyco BMW last year, and had a one-off event at BSB. I'd done a couple of World Endurance races with the Weepol racing team, and going forward, I plan to keep that going. So you got to keep sharp. You can't let it go too rusty too quick. So I'll be, like I said, with the BMB Mini Bike Academy, I'll be riding. I've got little pit bikes I like to ride here at Kinsham, and just finding time when I can to jump on a motorbike.
There'll be people saying that your wife Jodie either is extremely patient or just doesn't like you.
It could be a bit of both. I get away with because Chaz is her brother, so she's happy for me to go and help him. So that gives me a pass out for those extra 12 World Superbike races. And then obviously with MotoGP, she's as passionate about it as we are, which is quite lucky for me because she sits at home and watches us live all day. So she gets to hear me chatting to you on the telly. So it's not so bad.
And with Chaz, what are you doing with Chaz? You say you're helping him. Are you spotting and helping him technically, or how does that relationship work?
Yeah, originally I just come along as a spotter, but then it kind of evolved a little bit more as you have to grow the relationship. So inside the Ducati camp, once they kind of respected my opinion and knew I wasn't talking bullshit really, so there's a lot in the guides then I can add technically to what I see out on track, and it helps the technicians paint a broader picture of what's going on. So you see things on the data logging and it all looks like it makes sense on the lines, but actually what I can see from trackside and what I know how a bike reacts, the sounds you hear from the engine, watching the suspension move, how the bike's handling the bumps, you can bring a lot of information back that way. And also to Chaz as well, if he's doing something like Chaz is a really strong braker, if he's braking too late in the corner and messing up the exit, you can bring him back a little bit of information. So there's a lot, and it is getting more common. MotoGP have been doing it for a while with all the top riders now having a spotter out on track, and an ex-racer has a sharp eye for it. So yeah, it's something I really enjoy actually, and the Ducati team, they make me quite welcome in there. So I quite enjoy that. It makes me feel part of something whenever Chaz gets a race win on a Sunday.
What Chaz has got with you is not just an ex-racer that can see things, but also someone that can explain everything really well, because it's all very well to know, but to understand and be able to then explain what's going on is a different skill entirely. And that's why you, in my opinion, and I know a lot of opinion of people that were messaging yesterday to say, what you can do is see something and then explain something that's quite complicated in a simple way. And and I have to tell you, Breakfast Clubbers as well, just giving you a new name, that Michael can do it with anything. So I remember contacting you last year. Do you remember when I had that virus? And
yeah.
You came back with the most incredible amount of information for me that was really succinct, really all listed with websites to look at, and it helped me so much. And if anybody's got an injury, Michael always knows the medical terms, and it's great for us because, you know, we all kind of operate at such a different role within BT Sport. And I know a lot of people, including Cammy Wolf, said, what was the hardest transition, if there even was a hard transition, from racing to becoming a broadcaster for you?
Actually, I expected it to be really tough, but I'm quite a shy person naturally, so I wasn't the most outgoing, but you guys made it easy because on BT Sport, it's all friendly banter. So just figuring out that you were talking to friends, even though there is a big audience listening, so relaxing into that, it become quite comfortable within a few races, but it's still never easy when you have to look down the camera. Those little track pieces I do, and that which you do naturally and Gavin does, and I'm so jealous of that skill. I haven't developed that, but to be so natural, talking straight down a lens, there's something so alien about it. But you guys make it just seem as if it's second nature.
Well, I think you took to it all like a duck to water. Honestly, we were all like, Michael, though, you know, as if you've been doing it for years. It was. I thought that you were really excellent, and I think we all improve over the. I've been doing it for 24 years. I still think, you know, that you improve on every broadcast. But you're doing a cracking job. Let me just say, FMLS said, do you think that Eugene deserved more years in MotoGP?
Yeah, definitely. He only got those 2 years in 20 after I left in 14. He came in 15 and 16. And the first year, that customer Honda wasn't a very good bike, but he started to show real promise on the GP14 Ducati, which was the least preferred Ducati of all. So if he had another year or two, I think he could have shown a lot more. He had that 4th place in Argentina. He was on for pole position in Silverstone and crashed in the wet.
Yeah.
You know, he showed a lot of promise, but it just didn't quite align for him politically, financially. You know, everything has to work out sponsorship wise, and he moved back to World Superbike, and he still has a lot more to show there. He's moved to BMW, back on a factory team this year, and I think that'll work well for him. But yeah, I think Eugene had a lot more to give. I'm obviously going to be biased. He's my brother, but I could see a lot of talent, a lot of speed there, and he's a methodical worker. He was figuring it out, and it was all coming together for him in year 2. with the Aspar squad, but unfortunately didn't get that opportunity to continue.
Yeah, that sort of happens really, doesn't it? Top flight at a time is a premium, and unless the stars are aligned continuously, so difficult to keep a ride. And no, we were really sad when he went back to World Superbike. I mean, World Superbike's gain, obviously, but
Yeah.
we missed him around the paddock. And John, how's he doing? We shouldn't miss out your other brother.
Yeah, John's keeping well. He travels about to the World Superbike races, and he's a fully trained osteopath now. So whenever you have any ailments, we go see him, and he's really good because John smashed himself into a wall at Oulton Park and broke pretty much everything from his ankles to his shoulders. And when he rehabilitated himself, he got really into the anatomy. So he's a bit of a buffing on that, on diet, on nutrition, on the body. And so he treats my brother Eugene, Chaz Davies, Tom Sykes in the World Superbike paddock. And actually this year he's gone to manage Leon Haslam's junior team in the British Championship that's going to run in the British Supersport class and the junior Supersport class, sorry. And he just done his first test in Cartagena in Spain with the team, and then obviously that's drawn to a halt as well. But whenever he gets back, he'll be offering his experience and advice to those young kids. So yeah, he's hopefully bringing something to the junior ranks as well.
And of course, the Laverty is giving back to the bike world, isn't it? So, any news, any inside info on British Superbikes? I know people will be asking about that.
Yeah, it's quite quiet there at the moment. I know Stuart Higgs has said he would like to run events not behind closed doors with the crowds there, because that's what BSB is all about. They have the luxury of not so much travel as in World Championship. You gotta bring a lot of people from different countries, so then there's all sorts of travel restrictions. So they do manage to circumnavigate that, but also bringing thousands of people together, that's going to be tough. That's going to be quite a way down the line. But yeah, apart from Josh Brooks, he's got to get in from Australia. Most of the guys are here in the UK, so it should be easy for BSB to get up and running, or easier than World Superbike and MotoGP. And yeah, look forward to. We're starved of bike action. We just need to see some racing back on track.
Yeah, exactly. If the championship's in one country, obviously it minimises the problems globally of countries being at different stages with the virus. So hopefully the British Superbikes can get going. Maybe even before MotoGP, I don't know. But yeah, this must be the most amount of time that you've spent in one place for years and years and years. Have you discovered anything new about yourself, or have you come up with anything new, any new way of thinking?
Well, the funny thing is that when I travel a lot, I do spend a lot of time on social media. So I've almost had a social media exodus for the last few weeks. So I do check it for like 1 hour at night before I go to bed. So life without social media is different. You get so used to getting all your content, all your information, staying in contact with your friends through that. So I we're out in the country, so I've been sort of cut off from society, and then cutting yourself off from social media. It's a good thing having that little hiatus. I think it's good for the brain to switch off. But it's been nice, like you said, that downtime. I haven't had time like that in one place for been years. I always travel so much. So generally last year I would be 5 days on the road, get home on a Monday evening and leave again on a Thursday. So my Tuesday and Wednesday was my weekends, and now it's just it's Groundhog Day, days on days of I'm having loads of time to yourself. But I've always been a night owl, so my sleeping pattern's completely up the left. So now I go to bed and fall asleep maybe at 3 a.m. and wake up at 11. So it's just completely skewed. So I've had to set an alarm for this morning. I'm not usually up at 9 a.m.
Oh, to be honest, I've had this problem with a lot of the bikers that I know, this getting up in the morning thing. They're like, can we do it later? I'm like, no, because it's a live show. So you either do it or you don't do it. Well, thanks for getting up, first of all. I'm sort of talking to Jorge at the moment, and I said, you've just got to, I said, just do it from your bed. It's fine. We don't mind, just come on. And anyway, I'm hoping that Jorge might pop along in next week, which would be really cool. I'm still, by the way, trying to get a question into Fogarty from yesterday. Carl, I've never heard him talk so much in all my life. He even sent me a message afterwards saying, I'm sorry, I did seem to talk a lot. But it's great, couldn't get a question. Can I just say to everybody, when I look at this phone, I'm not bored. I'm looking at questions that are coming in, because I've got the phone the other way around to get the best camera on this. And someone yesterday went, well, you looked a bit bored talking to Fogarty. And I was really offended, because I wasn't at all. You know, we had this 1.5 hour long chat, which was just wonderful listening to him. But I was just trying to keep everybody involved, you know. And this is a slight delay, this phone as well, because it's on the Wi-Fi, just going a bit techie because you're on. So it works obviously behind the 4G. So if you send a message now, I'll get it in 2 minutes time. I just want to bring everybody in, because that's the whole point of the Breakfast Club, really. So I just want to see if there's any more questions for you on here. Rabsky69, Michael, can you say hello to the night shift workers? You should join them.
The night shift workers, yeah. Indeed. Hello to everyone out there. Yeah, hello to all the guys who are working NHS. We see who's important in these times whenever it comes down to the crux of it.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? So Michael, anything else you want to tell us? Because I know that Jules is on the way in, and he sent you a message this morning saying, see you at Suzi's. I'm sorry I haven't offered you a coffee. Have you got one there?
I did have one before we come on live, so I'm fine, but thank you very much.
We love Michael. Right, could you say hello to Jodie for us?
I shall do.
And before you go, I do want people at home to guess what sort of dog MLav has got.
Unfortunately, my dog is not here. I think she's gone with Jodie for a walk. But yeah, most people won't expect it.
You've done that deliberately.
Yeah.
Michael has got the best dog, right? Oh, Rue 36 wants to know what shampoo you use. Darren Gilpin says a Labradoodle.
Labradoodle.
Buzzsprout says a Dachshund, a Boxer. Pete, I am. Cockapoo. Richard Pumphrey, a Cockapoo. Boo Boo and Poodle. And Janice, XSX, wins almost with the Chihuahua.
Yeah. More manly than all those first dogs. I don't go for the Boxer or the Chihuahua. Actually, they are a great dog. I love it to bits, but she's a proper little character. We're not quite teacup, but quite small. Just have to be careful around her. She is a little bit delicate.
Is she a miniature Chihuahua? Is there such a thing? Have I made
that
up?
No, there is a teacup Chihuahuas are the smallest one, so she is a miniature one, but not quite as small as you can get. You can get a little bit smaller, but she is tiny.
See, who would have thought that MLav would have had a miniature Chihuahua? Anyway,
people are asking if you've got a man cave.
Have you got a man cave like Carl Fogarty or Max Biaggi? Have you got anything in your house that you can show us?
I've got a few bikes upstairs, but they're not quite tidy. It's not quite a man cave, but I can go upstairs and hope that the 3G stays with us.
Go on, give it a go. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Let's have a look at your man cave, MLav.
Unfortunately, I was messing about with bikes, recording a thing for BT yesterday, and it's a real mess now. I had the bikes nicely lined up.
Don't worry about the mess. I mean, you're in my garden. It's all fine. No one cares about the mess.
Oh, he's gone.
Have we lost him?
He's gone slightly. Yes.
Keep going. Can you still hear us, MLav? Is he gone?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's gone. Timing out.
Maybe we'll.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Slightly.
Is he back?
Very slightly.
Can you hear us? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, but my connection's quite poor up here. So I've got a few bikes. Got my supermoto bike, a little Honda 150 pit bike, my enduro bike, another little pit bike. We got that one. Motocross bike, some bicycles, but yeah, a little bit of a man cave that needs a sort out, needs a tidy up. That is one of my to-do lists to organize in here, because it's a bit of a junk store at the moment. But I do enjoy tinkering with my bikes.
We've all got so busy with everything that everybody's house is now a mess. Lockdown started where everybody's house got tidy. And now we've
Yeah.
all been doing things and tinkering, and now it's a mess again. So I think everybody's exactly the same. I know that it went a bit sketchy there, but don't worry. It's just nice to have a bit of a nosy, isn't it? And have a look at the bikes and stuff. A proper man cave 2000 phaser is saying, unfortunately, I can't see on mine because my Wi-Fi's gone tech issues, but it doesn't matter because we're all together. So, you know, it's just the chat, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Geordie Lodger. Oh, Michael, here's a good one from Steve Andrews. What does Michael do to keep race fit?
Well, I used to do a lot of cycling and running and gym work. I'm quite lazy these days, so I only do enough to get by. But that's another thing I need to get back into is cycling. We had nice weather there for a couple of weeks, but it's all disappeared now. So we're back to rainy season here in the UK. But yeah, I love cycling actually in nice weather. I'm a bit of a fair weather cyclist, and same with running out on the roads. Yeah, and gym time really is quite a good thing, but not obviously. I'm quite slightly built up, so I don't lift a lot of weights, more body weight exercises.
Do you remember when James Tozen used to do a lap for us at BTSport, and he'd get into his leathers, and we'd all sort of try not to look. I'd obviously try not to look, but then we'd all end up staring at him because his body is just so ridiculous. Yeah, like a Terminus.
Yeah.
And
he really is.
I just want to touch him.
Yeah, James always was a bit of a machine, wasn't he? And he still stays in such good shape. He's unreal. So he must put some time in to be in that good a condition for sure. I'm just a bit too lazy. No, I've never actually joined him in the gym.
I have.
I bet he's out of this world.
Well, it's hard to do any gym work yourself because you can't believe what he's doing and the positions he gets himself into and the weights that he's pushing. It's unreal. I mean, honestly, he should do a video or something. It is incredible. It is something else. A lot of people are saying upstairs, Emma, how do you get your bikes up and down? Why would you keep them in the loft?
I'll show you. So,
okay.
Oh, hold on. Upstairs for me, because I live in a barn.
Oh wow!
An old converted barn. So,
see?
And then
you've got a shoot outside or something.
that
so this
to the.
And then this is my back garden.
How cool is this? This is so cool.
So I live at Kinsham Raceway. So this is the kart track where Chaz grew up on. This is Chaz's parents' kart track, and so obviously I live in the building right beside. Hold on.
Oh, honestly, that is something else. We're just losing your audio a bit, Michael, I think. But are you running?
It's moving along.
Oh,
so,
look at that.
So we've had nice sunshine here for the last few weeks, and now it's gone to pot. But that's obviously why I have my bikes upstairs, so I'll come round the front. This is an old converted barn, and Jodie's mum and dad live on one side of it, and then me and Jodie live on the other side.
Right.
Amazing, isn't it?
That is, you live in heaven, don't you? I mean, that is just the perfect place to live.
So we're actually doing a little bit of work here as well. So we've got to put a new roof in this building this year. So me and Jodie live on that wing, and then Jodie's mum and dad live on the other wing, and then upstairs is my workshop. And these are going to turn back. And so I've been working on the diggers this week.
Wow.
Doing the drive.
Incredible.
So
Ben Moore's saying all round to MLav's for a karting day. Is that cool?
Yeah. Well, I did have the BT boys down here at the end of the season for a kart day. Charlie Hiscott and all the crew came down, and yeah, we had some good fun. So yeah, let's organise the MLav karting day.
That sounds good. Suzi's Breakfast Club all round to MLavs. It's a long hashtag, but we love it all the same.
Yeah.
Michael, that's wow. I mean, you know, it's a wet day in Wales, but we'll take it. And what a beautiful place. Thank you so much for showing us around your place. I know you weren't expecting to do that, so we appreciate it. And it's so funny every day on here. we get wowed by something. And I sort of love the fact that it's a cult thing and there's about sort of 6, 7, 8,000 people watching. But
Yeah.
I also wish that more people saw it because it's such gold, you know, and it's just, there's no production. It's just me and my lodger, who happens to come from Newcastle, so he's called the Geordie Lodger, and a mobile phone and some dodgy 4G. And it's amazing, isn't it? And obviously, you know, a bunch of friends. I mean, I've only known you for a handful of years, 4 years or so, but what a great thing to be able to, for everybody to be able to connect together and just see people, you know, kind of as they are without the polish of television.
Yeah, indeed. And I haven't actually managed to. You need to put your shows on the series so I can catch up if you missed them on the day. I wanted to catch your your chat with JT. Actually, I missed that and Cards yesterday. So you need to repost them on a series on Instagram. It's cold outside.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm hopefully getting a massive long email later from MLav, which will tell me exactly what I've got to do technically with all of this. No, IGTV, YouTube.
Yeah.
The truth is, MLav, that we've been really busy, but we have set up the skeleton of a YouTube channel because I know lots of people are saying to me, I want to watch Max again, I want to watch Carl again, James, whatever. So
Yeah.
I have set up a YouTube channel called Suzi's Club, SUZE, as in Suze, apostrophe S's Club, and everyone can go and subscribe to that, and we're going to put everything on that YouTube channel. We're also going to try and post everything onto IGTV, but it's not that friendly a platform, actually, Instagram. So it's all very well to do your live and it lasts 24 hours, but trying to download it and then repost it is not as quite as simple as you would think. And I don't think I'm that stupid when it comes to tech, but it has been a bit tricky. But we will definitely do that, and we'll definitely repost this as well. Just before you go, just looking at the Geordie Lodger, because is Julian around, you know?
I can't see anybody popping in.
Okay, all right. Julian, if you're around, just go out and come back in again, because we might have lost your request. But Michael, when we do get racing this year, if we do get racing, I should just cover myself with that, who can take it either this season or next season to Marc Marquez in your eyes?
It's got to be Fabio Quartararo. He was so impressive last season, and getting that opportunity to join the factory Yamaha team, I think he's the guy who can. But Maverick Vinales, if he can put a season together
consistent
and consistently stay at his highs are very high. He's capable of beating anyone in the world, but it's his down days and the way he lets his emotions get the better of him. But again, he's brought Julian Simon in there as a mentor or as a rider coach, and built a crew around him last season that seemed to really help that. So if he can take one step further when we get back to racing, I think he's got every possibility to kind of show his potential over a full season.
And obviously we were wowed by Fabio Quartararo in the satellite team. Do you think the move up to the factory team next season will give him more confidence? Do you think it's obviously it's a good thing to be in the factory team? It would be a stupid question to say, do you think it's a good thing? But, you know, things will be different for him. Do you expect him to just move up another gear?
It's a difficult one to predict because he's got such a good structure there. Exactly. So he's got Wilco and Stiggy as quite, seems like they're quite calm and a good influence there. A good crew chief in Diego Giubilini. When you go into a factory team, the pressure increases, no doubt. So all of a sudden you go from having fun, enjoying working with the people around you, to a high pressure situation where now you're expected. Last year, nothing was expected of Fabio. Every weekend was a smile on his face. He was going, having fun riding his bike. But when all of a sudden the pressure ramps up, it can change for some people. Some people it doesn't affect them. Others, you know, it really does wear them down. So I can't wait to see how Fabio does go and actually what will happen, because, you know, there are all sorts of rumors that contracts may be rolled over into 2021, and with Fabio the only one who's due to move currently, with the new line of contracts with Rins staying, Marquez staying, but Fabio and Valentino could essentially switch, or Yamaha could request Fabio stays one more year in Petronas. Who knows? It will be a talking point once we get back to it, for sure.
And let's just go through the British riders while you're here. Cal Crutchlow.
I think Cal's got so much left to achieve. I know he talked about potentially retiring. Now he's gone back on that and
Come
said,
back on that, hasn't he?
yeah, he wants to continue, which is great because without Cal, we don't have someone to fill his shoes, to have a Brit at the top level currently. And I think Cal, with the LCR team and on the HRC bike, he can win races again. He can be top 5 in the world. It's a shame that the injuries from Phillip Island at the end of 2018 put that doubt in his mind about wanting to go on and the pain he has to go through. But Cal's had a brilliant career, and I think he's a great ambassador for UK racing and showing everyone what we're capable of. As we talked about at the start of the show, the in my opinion, British riders mature in their 30s, and Cal is just coming into his own. He's really, really comfortable, really confident in his own ability. He can race with anybody. He's as fast as anyone. And I look forward to seeing him back on track.
There was an interesting bit when you do get to watch the Fogarty interview back yesterday that Carl was talking really openly about not going into GPs and saying that it was predominantly his fault looking back. He didn't push for it for whatever reason at the time. World Superbike seemed bigger, and but that aside, what he said that interested me was when Cal won his first race, the first race since Barry Sheene, obviously the first Brit to win since Barry Sheene in the top flight. It really pushed a nerve on Carl, because he said, I felt it should have been since Carl Fogarty. And
yeah.
He said it made him revisit it all over again, thinking, I would like to have been the guy in the history books, and I would like Cal to have been winning, for the first time since Fogarty. So it's obviously a big deal for him now. But it just goes to show really what a great achievement it was by Cal to get into that top flight racing and to win races now, obviously, multiple races, because it's bloody hard, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was a big fan of Carl in his when he was at his top level, and he had those wild cards on the 500 GP class. He performed so well at Donington Park, and I always wanted to see that opportunity open up for him. But like Jonathan Rea right now, you can see why Carl stayed in World Superbikes and became a dominant force and won all those World Championships. So I guess his bank balance won't be sorry that he did stay there. That's the step you have to take from winning World Championships and earning a comfortable living in World Superbike to taking the risk to go into MotoGP, and you won't get that top tier equipment coming through immediately the hard way, the way Cal Crutchlow had to go from World Superbike into MotoGP. You got to take a step down in pay. You got to ride inferior equipment and then reprove yourself again. So it is a tough thing to do, and I can't see anyone doing it at the moment. The way the structure is now, it's all Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP. It's clear to see where everyone comes from. But you had Cal, you had Ben Spies, and that come through from World Superbike, and that door just doesn't seem to be open anymore. And it is a shame. I would agree with Carl. Obviously, I'd love to have seen him have an opportunity on the Kajiva even, but then that was inferior in comparison to the NSR 500 Honda and the Yamaha at the time. So it is. Everyone thinks it's just sitting at home, make a decision and ride what you want to do, but there's so many politics involved, the financial side with your own contracts. There's a lot to weigh up before you make any decision, and you make that choice and it affects your career for the next 3 to 5 years. And if you've made the wrong choice, bike racers are quite stubborn, so they'll always find a way to change the mentality and accept that was the right decision to make, but it perhaps wasn't at the time.
And if we look at the Moto2 class, obviously we've got Sam Lowes in there and Jake Dixon. What do you make of Jake Dixon? Could Jake be a candidate to move up at any point?
Yeah, you know what, the margins between the top riders and World Championship are very small, so you just got to give them the right opportunity to grow and then give them that platform to grow on, and the time. That's the biggest thing. But Jake, yeah, he's an undoubted talent. He's fast, as is Sam Lowe. Sam got that opportunity with Aprilia and it didn't quite work out. It was a 1 year thing and it should have been 2 and more where he had time to develop. So you need a manufacturer with the patience who give you the opportunity to learn how to ride a MotoGP bike, how to use the tires, and it takes time. And that's the tougher thing for Sam, because he's had that one experience and that'll go against him because he went up for 1 year and then come back. But yeah. Jake's in a better structure there in Petronas. So when you look at the potential there, if he was to go and deliver in Moto2 and win races and battle for a Moto2 World Championship, and then he potentially could step onto an M1 Yamaha. So if you do it that route, as Cal did, as Bradley did, onto the Tech 3 Yamahas, then you've got an opportunity to stay at the top flight. So it's all about the right opportunity to make a career off it in MotoGP.
Yeah. About stars aligning as well, really, isn't it? Everything in the right place at the right time. You've been in the right place at the right time. We've definitely been in the right place with you this morning. Thank you, Michael, for showing us your loft, the outside, the karting track. It's just been glorious to speak to you. Nice to catch up with you. And
you.
I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in our Sundowners Lounge, and also having a chat with you tomorrow. I think we're chatting at about 11 o'clock UK time. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I do have it on an email somewhere, but I haven't computed it to the brain. I think it's somewhere before lunchtime anyway, for sure. And then evening session with all you guys on Zoom then tomorrow evening. Instagram during the day and Zoom in the evening, I think.
Exactly that. So thank you so much for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.